once you have the length of wire you want, you can cut it. Could that be a bad coil? Something's smoking. Ouch! Ow, baba. Now we're getting into crazy town, Gary. This can't be the right way to do this. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Redcap Mechanic here on the 1950 Dodge Meadowbrook. Now, the last couple of weeks we've had a bit of a on-again, off-again relationship with challenges here. But you know what? That's okay. We're going to keep pressing forward, fixing what we can, when we can, and bit by bit, this thing is going to come around. So let's go ahead and get started today. We'll grab some easy things first, some low-hanging fruit to really keep us moving. Now, the first thing we're going to do is replace this. No, not the radiator, just the cap. This was supposed to go on immediately and be funny. Done. Next thing we're going to do will be a little bit harder. I've discovered that this is an electric choke. It is called a Sisson, S-I-S-S-O-N, Sisson choke. And more importantly, I found out where this disgusting wire is supposed to run. It's supposed to run to the top of the starter solenoid. You can see there's still a little wire from what it used to be. So we can go ahead and take this bolt off and run a new wire there. First thing we're gonna have to do is take off this old gnarly wire. Like, I am not an electrician either, but that's not gonna cut it. Should we save this like as kind of a memento of like the worst wire in the history of the universe? All right, we can see that here's the screw that came out of it. If we get one of these little tiny eyelet ones, it'll fit pretty well. So we will go ahead and make up a wire with that. Okay, a 12 gauge wire should be all we need. How long does it need to be? I don't know. What color should it be? Let's go with yellow. I'm not exactly sure what the original path of this wire was, but we're not going to want it to go over the engine because that gets hot. Maybe that's what happened to the first one. So we want to make sure that we leave ourselves plenty of wire, because you can always take off, but it gets a little bit more tricky to add more on. All right, once you have the length of wire you want, you can cut it. You can cut it. And then this is a 12 gauge wire, so we'll put it where it says 12 and kind of take that off. We're just wanting to cut the rubber, and once we've cut the rubber, we can just kind of pull and it should come off, and we're left with our copper wire. Then we can take one of our guys here, put the wires inside, and then crimp it down. We're going to want to go with the 12 because this is a 12 gauge wire. And now that's on there good and snug. Now we can attach this to the Sisson choke. This next part, also remove the toothpicks from your Sisson choke. And we'll just screw this back on. All right, we now have a little bit of a cable We will then run that over to our starter. All right, so our starter is down here. I don't know if you've got a great view of it, but it's also not easy to get to. So let me find the right nut for that and we'll take it off. 9/16. All right, the remnants of the old cable. All right, we'll put the wire from the battery on the bottom, and then we'll get our wire here. It's plenty long, might be too long actually, but we can always cut it down later if we need to. Again, we'll get in here and just kind of remove some of that excess rubber. Get our copper wire exposed. Slide that in here. And crimp it down. Gotta crimp it hard. Gotta crimp it real hard. Double crimp. Alright, that's on there pretty good. There's a little bit of that copper exposed, so I'm going to put some electrical tape on it. Alright, now we have our electrical tape on there. Put that right down there. And we could put our washer, nut, this thing back on. So now we've got that wire on that runs to our choke. So when we engage the starter, it should activate, I think. Okay, I also think I figured out how to use this guy. So I got the red light glowing, so that means there's power running through there. I've got one end hooked to the negative terminal here, and the other end is hooked to the starter side of the solenoid. So if that's correct, pushing this button should turn the engine over. Hey, not bad. So now we can see if that choke is activating. So when that button is pushed, that lever should actuate. Okay. We have ourselves two successful repairs today. Let's keep that momentum moving. While we're over here and scoring easy victories, let's go ahead and change the oil filter. We changed the oil, so might as well change the filter, right? Okay, that's a long one. Alrighty, this filter top wasn't coming off, but with a little thwack of a hammer, it did loosen. And inside, we have disgustingness. I think this just comes out, yeah. All that gooey goodness. Let me get a bag to put that in. Unfortunately, these are not the cheapest things in the world. They're like 25 bucks each. And I don't think you can clean them. So we're gonna have to just toss it. But that's part of the game. But before we toss it, you can see all the sludge and buildup that's on top of it. And so unlike modern oil filters that filter 100%, these are called bypass filters. So they filter about 10% of the oil. So over time it'll filter all of it, but it's not going to do as good of a job as a modern one, obviously. So one day we may move to a modern setup for this, just to make sure the engine is as healthy as possible. But at least it's catching all that. And now we got the sludge out of the oil pan, and hopefully the oil pan gasket's in place. We'll put a new one of these in. It has new fresh oil in, so when it does run, it'll start filtering it out. All right, we have the Wix 5180, which surprisingly enough, they don't really carry in stores. You have to kind of special order that. Alrighty, put that guy down there. Comes with an oil ring, which the last one, I don't know if it had or not. Oh, maybe it just got stuck in the top here. Alright, we'll take the old one out. And we got us a spring for the top. That rubber, I don't know if it's the right size or not. I go in here. It's just, well, I will take that. I will take that all day long. Okay, so put it on the inside of the hat. Oil filter, done. And by the way, I noticed on the YouTube metrics that 0.5% of the audience has been translating this into French. So to you people, I say, bonjour, je m'appelle Gary, et je suis le chapeau rouge mécanique. Huh? You would never have known that I took 8 years of French in school, would you? Okay, while we don't have any spark plugs, we can test to see if we are getting spark. So I've got the Lone Wolf 2200 hooked up, and we'll see if this coil is sending anything through our spark plug. Not seeing any spark, so I wonder if I have these guys on there backwards, because I wasn't quite sure which one was positive, which one was negative. Okay, got that hooked up again. Got our Lone Wolf good to go. Show me spark. Nothing. Are we getting sparkles from the cap? Okay. No sparkles from the cap. Could that be a bad coil? Right out of the box? I've heard that happen. Let's try putting the other old one on there and see if it works. Nope, can't do it. I don't have the right connectors on anymore. Dang it! I'm curious if that bowl is filling up, the fuel bowl. It is not. Did our pump stop working? Because we should see fuel squirt out. Okay, keep your eye on the fuel pump, or the spigot for it. I put brake cleaner down there, so it should at least pump that up. Oh, something's smoking. It stopped. But what was it? Something over there. I don't know. Maybe it healed itself. I got the multimeter out. I found that when hooked to the positive side of the battery, touching this side of the solenoid, will give you the full battery charge. Touching any of the other sides of the battery or of the solenoid will give you no charge. Touching the distributor side of this will give you a very minor, tiny little charge. Touching the battery side of it will also give you a minor charge. If you switch it up and you connect the negative end, you're obviously not going to have any charge since you're coming from negative to negative. And if you go over here, you get like half a charge. And if so, I don't really know what that means, but there we are then. So we'll come back to the electrical side later. Let's get on to the brakes. All right, here we are at the captain's side rear brake. We got the wheel cylinder. I've ordered all new ones. They haven't come in yet, but they're on the way. We've got these 5 bolts here that are smaller than 5/8. They are 9/16. So do we need to loosen these? I don't think so. Just need to figure out how to get this wheel cylinder off. Okay, it's got 2 bolts to hold it in. How big do you think they are? They are indeed 1/2. All right. Do not want to lose any more hardware if we can help it. I have enough trouble finding stuff as it is. Let's keep that out for a second. Oh. Right, that's going to have something to give pressure to the wheel cylinder. All right. Which one of you guys is the correct one? Nailed it on the first go. 3/8. Just take both of these bolts out and be careful not to lose them. Oh yeah, these are garbage too. Okay, I'm glad I ordered all new ones. You don't want to mess around with not having brakes. You know, maybe I'll put these bolts back in just until I can get that back thing broken loose. Okay, I think we were able to get that off without damaging the line. Now, having said that, I make no claims to how good of shape that line is in, so we may end up needing to redo those anyway. Here's our rear brake cylinder. It's not in the best of shapes. Again, we kind of see that it's really corroded on the inside, and I don't think that there's anything that I have that could hone that out to be smooth. Not necessarily the inside of the cylinder, but that lip around where that purple fuchsia red push rod thing is. So I'm not sure this is something I can restore, because I'm sure both sides are just awful. Yeah, So I'm glad we got new ones. It was not cheap, but if you're going to do this project, you got to do that. Taking a look at our brake line, like it actually looks really good. It's got some debris in it, but I wonder if those were redone recently, because that's some shiny metal for 76 years old. Okay, we got this one off. Let's go ahead and get the other two off, and then we'll have all the brake hardware off. I guess one good thing about desert cars that you'd find in Texas is, unlike that 84 LTD that came from Ohio, not a whole lot of just binding rust on this, which is nice. Okay, this brake line, much like the last, both of them kind of have some, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but have some kind of junk compacted in them. This one's not so bad. Well, the ones on this side of the car in the rear fared off a little bit better than their captain side buddies, but again, we're still going to replace them all just to be on the safe side. Okay, so this one is interesting because it's got these bolts that the other side did not have, so I will have to find some more of those somehow. These brake, or these cylinders, are also, yeah, horrendous, awful, terrible, yeah, also bad. Okay, good call getting rid of these. What the heck kind of things are these? And how do you get them out? I don't know what you're supposed to use on these, but here's what we're gonna use. I have not seen a bolt like this before. It's got like a little up arrow in it. There's a really huge nut on the other side. I don't know if I have a socket big enough for that. Let me check. Let's just start with the big guy, 7/8. Oh no. Zero room. That won't do anything. Vice grips. See what happens now. Good to know there's a washer on the back of that. Now that's a thick bolt. I need to find two more of these for the other side. Does anybody know what this kind of bolt's called, or if it can be subbed out for a different kind of bolt? It's got like a felt thing here. It's a little bit of sludge on it, but oh, what? It's like a castle nut. The top one wasn't, though. Ouch! Ow, baba. Ah! Ah! Okay. Required a bit of He-Man, but it's fine. What is the logic behind not just making this a regular kind of bolt? I wonder. You think they knew in like 80 years or so some guy was gonna come by and try and take it off and just have a fun time with it. At least it's not unbearably hot. Okay. And the washer. It also seems like it was made of a very soft metal, based on how much damage I'm doing to it. Now we're getting into crazy town, Gary. See, this one had like a castle nut. The other one just had a regular kind. Or all the castles melted off, I don't know. Because really there shouldn't be anything holding this bolt in here. Now we're getting to real mechanical work. Not the same bolt. Fascinating. Same bolt pattern though. Interesting, interesting. That was a project. Now we have to get that line off. 5/8. All right, let's go. Yeah. You think I would learn my lesson the last time and left the bolts in before undoing this, but nope. Nope. That's not how I do things. Oh yes, I remember this now. Again, we have new rubber lines, so and these lines also look like they're maybe not in the best of shape. Okay, what do we got? These should now just slide right out. And that's how you take the brakes off. I juiced down these brake hoses with some PB Blaster in an effort to try and loosen them up so I can take them off. There we go. Just a slow, tedious process, trying to be as careful as I can to not break anything. I think that's fully, there we go, unscrewed. Now how do you get that out? Do you just keep turning and like it comes out, or like what? I don't understand. What is that going to do? Oh yeah, now we're cooking with gas. Alright, we can see that this brake line is a little crunchy and corroded, and it's a good thing we took these off, because again, you don't want to mess with brakes. Also, looks like there's a little plate that pulls off. Maybe that's how you get them off. not want to go willingly. I guess there's really nothing that we can do. That is on there. Just hammer it off. Maybe a screwdriver. These are on there. Chisel should be part of every mechanic's tool set, right? How does a normal person do this? This cannot be the right way to do this. All right, I'm gonna keep working on this and I'll get back to you. I did a little reading. It said PB Blaster's your friend. So, since these are loosened up, I believe we finished that. Should be able to separate the metal line in this joint here. And then using a combination of needle nose vice grips, which I don't have, but I got the regular kind. Okay. Pull and pry. Maybe a few light taps with the hammer help break up some of that rust and corrosion. A couple more squicks of that. Aren't you two separating? You two aren't good for each other. You should separate. Come on now. Boy, this is not easy. Oh. Come on, man. We got it. Oh. Whew. And see how easy it is to take off a brake line. Yay, Gary, yay. I'm gonna go do the same thing to the other side. The brake line looks like it's okay, so I'll go ahead and get that done and we'll get back to you. The PB Blaster screwdriver plier trick works pretty well. Now, trying to get these back flat. We do metal work on this show. I'm gonna clean these up real good. And then we can hopefully get the new hoses installed before the sun goes down. So let me clean these up and we'll get set up to put the new hoses on. Hopefully they fit. Here are the old ones. As you can see, they're, I don't know. They both, I mean, it's probably best to replace them. They're pretty rusty, pretty torn and brittle. So I'd feel safer replacing them because stopping is key when driving. But I think that was the right call. While we're waiting for the brake clips to clean, let's take a look at these windshield wipers. Now, I ordered this new wiper material and it said it was going to fit, but I don't think I can make that fit. If it didn't have this top portion, maybe, but like it's just not big enough. This wiper blade holder is not big enough to accept that. So I'm wondering if I tried cutting like that top portion off, maybe it would work. Let's give it a shot. And if you're going to cut rubber, you're of course going to want to use your 10 snips. This is proving actually rather difficult to cut in a straight line. I mean, it's not great, Bob. No, so close. I don't think this comes apart. You really got to figure out how to slide it in. New strategy. Get half of it in there and just push the other half in. It's kind of working for this top. This can't be the right way to do this. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. I will tell you that if this does work, these wiper blades are never, ever, ever getting replaced again. Battery on the camera died, but I ended up kinda, I mean, it's not straight, but it's in there. I don't like it, but it kind of works. So I don't know. We're gonna call this one good. Not gonna do the other one because this was a project. Let's see if we can get the brake hoses on. So here's the old brake hose, and here's the new one. It's in a bit better condition, as you might be able to see, and looks like the same kind of thing. Put this up through the bottom and then lock this devil into place. All right, now, you know, I should have tested to see if this thing even fit, but fitment test, go. That guy should be the 1/2 inch. All right, and that guy should be the 3/8, I think. So we don't want the little one to move. If he breaks, we're in bad news bear country. Okay, and we should have our new line installed. This was quite a bit of work, but the safety benefits are too important to pass up. So, and then this should plug into the brake cylinder, the wheel cylinder down here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to the other side. But yeah, we made some good progress today. We didn't get everything done, but that's okay. We had forward momentum, and that I think is what's key on this or any project you do, because if you get quagmired and stalled, and stalled is the word I meant to say, I don't know why I said it that way, but if you get quagmired and stalled, then you're never gonna move forward, and you have to keep trying different things. So even though right now, still waiting on the carb, still waiting on the brake parts, still trying to figure out the ignition system, you know, at least we have had some forward momentum. And when I come back here tomorrow or whenever, we'll be that much farther ahead. So I know the last couple of videos were kind of stressful and aggravating. They were very stressful and aggravating to make as well. But you just got to keep pushing through, and then eventually you'll get out of the forest and start making some real headway. And I think we started doing that today. Alrighty, our carburetor rebuild kit came in, so hopefully we'll be able to reassemble this. So let's get started. We got a new one of these that has some fresh rubber on it, which is great. So we'll get a little bit of oil and put it on there so it'll last. And what's awesome about this one, and worth the, you know, $80 that it was, it comes with these cool pieces of paper that are called instructions that can actually tell you how to put things together, which is really awesome. So let's get on it. This is one of the ones that has a check ball. It still kind of rattles, so it still seems unstuck. The main jet is in here, though how you get that out of there, I don't quite know. Alright, so the main jet is in there. But I do not have any tool that can kind of reach in there and be able to twist it. We may have to leave that as is for now. I did spray carb cleaner in there really well, so maybe that, if that was having any issue, it's helped clean it up some. Dash pot repair package. I did find out that this one is the accelerator pump, so that's what that is. That doesn't quite look right to me. At least this guy goes in. I was really hoping it would come with another one of these, but unfortunately it has not. It did come with some new ones of these, so that's nice. We can put those in. I'm gonna just work to get this reassembled and we'll come back to you because it's not quite going as well as I'd hoped. Wanted to catch you guys up here real quick. The long one is actually called the dash pot. I don't know, I looked on the instructions. It said you needed a vise and like a weird 332 drift punch, but I just got a socket and vice grips and then a finishing nail and just kind of held it against the table and just a hammer, and it came right out. So I mean, it was broken before, so it's not going to be any worse than it was, right? But now I have this thing and I can hopefully reassemble, because this is gonzo. I mean, this thing is just awful. Okay, I'm still working on it. We'll get back to you. It's not going well. I have the carburetor on, but I think, and I tried to put new gaskets in, and I put a new idle circuit in, or idle screw in down there. The new one of these things wasn't working, so I just ended up using the old one and the old float. There are new gaskets. This thing, I think, is supposed to like pop back up. I don't know if I have that on there right. I got the Sisson choke installed pretty correctly, I think. I got the throttle installed pretty correctly, I think. But I got like this extra thing. I can't remember what that goes to. Like, I had a lot of just extra pieces and I couldn't find a spot for them. And getting this thing in to hold the float down is awful. Awful. So I'm really doubting that this is gonna work. And there's also like a thing on the bottom that sticks out. It goes to another plunger. I think it was the whatever the pump is under here. It's like that flat rod. I think that was supposed to be connected to something, but I guess I didn't get a picture of that, unfortunately. So I really don't know if this is gonna work, but I don't know how else to assemble it at the moment. But on another note, when I was editing episode 6, I remembered that I noticed that I was talking about the battery line into the ignition coil, and I said that it had a 1 on its ohm reading. I said that meant it was a good connection. I was wrong. I even put a big X over there. When you have a 1, that means there's no connection. So something's faulty in that wiring. I need to take a look at it and see. Okay, I filled the bowl with gas. I still don't have spark plugs, but I thought I'd fill the bowl with gas and see if the squirter pump was working, and it's not. So I'm not quite sure why this isn't working at this point, but it's okay because the fuel pump, when I turn the car over, also doesn't seem to be pumping any fuel. I made sure there was gas in there, but I just don't know. I'm a little disheartened, to be frank with you. I am sure that this has not been rebuilt correctly. I tried to follow all the steps and procedures as carefully as I could, but it's not working, because it should be squirting as it was before. Car is no longer pumping fuel, so that's also not super great. The coil doesn't have continuity. I'm not sure why. I was able to hook up the Lone Wolf so I could turn it over. That's good, but we got lots of problems, and I don't see any solutions for them at the moment, if I'm being honest with you. Well, we had some partial success rebuilding the carb. It was able to regain the shape of a carburetor, which is good, but it lost the functionality of a carburetor, which is bad. So we're really practicing the function follows form method. Yes, that's the one. The brake parts should be in soon, so I'm hoping on the next video I can start putting those back together, but I really don't know how to fix this carburetor or why the fuel pump stopped pumping. Now, it may be that it will pump when the engine starts. Maybe the starter on it's not strong enough to actually get it pumping if it doesn't have anything in the lines, but I don't know. It's kind of disheartening at this point, because I am well past the limits of my knowledge on what to do here, and I have watched so many YouTube videos on rebuilding these kind of things, and it's very frustrating, and I'm just hitting a wall, and I don't know how to overcome it, because if the brakes go well, like the brake lines, the rubber ones we got on there pretty good, so that was a nice change. I even got the back one on, which was kind of complicated because it screws into 2 places at once, so you got to be careful with that. If we get the brakes going, I still don't know what we can do to get the engine going again. I'm gonna need to think on that, but I would say that this is kind of a low point for the project, because I have not had a lot of successes lately, and I've had a lot of setbacks. I don't know how to overcome those. I'm gonna think on that. I appreciate all the comments and support that you guys are giving me. You guys have a wealth of knowledge, and it's really nice to see. If you guys are working on your own projects, I hope they're going a little bit better than mine. It's okay though. Sometimes projects do have some issues. I knew that this was going to be a huge monster for me to try and tackle, given my knowledge and experience. I think it's fun. It's a little frustrating though, because I just don't even know what to do. So yeah, I hope you guys have good luck on your projects, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And thank you again for all watching. Redcap Mechanic.